This morning, the White House is refusing to give any kind of readout on the 2 hours of face-to-face talks last night between President Obama and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Netanyahu arrived at the West Wing after weeks of escalating tensions over Israeli plans to build new construction in Arab-dominated East Jerusalem. The leaders actually held two separate meetings last night. After the president left the first sit-down, Netanyahu huddled with top Israeli aides. Then he asked for a second meeting with President Obama. We're joined now by Dore Gold. He's a former foreign policy advisor to Benjamin Netanyahu, as well as former Israeli ambassador to the United Nations. Ambassador Gold, are you picking up any sort of readout on what happened last night?
No, I can't tell you. Obviously, the meeting between President Obama and Prime Minister Netanyahu was a four-eyes meeting. It was just the two of them. However, obviously, Israel and the U.S. have a very complex relationship at present. We both have the same strategic challenges. Iran, Al-Qaeda, that bust in Saudi Arabia fits into the kinds of threats that we're facing as well. But at the same time, unfortunately, we've seen a sharp break in the policy of the Obama administration from past administrations on the question of Jerusalem. Jerusalem's a city where we have a Jewish majority. We've had a Jewish majority since 150 years ago, in the mid-19th century. And Israel needs to supply housing to all its residents, both Arabs and Jews alike. We will not discriminate between them.
Is it your understanding, though, I mean, the huge embarrassment for the Obama administration, as I think you and others have recognized, is the timing of the announcement when Vice President Biden was in Israel, and essentially right when he landed, there was the announcement by members of the Israeli government that there would be construction moving forward in East Jerusalem. Is it your understanding that the friction between the Obama administration and the Israeli government over that they moved beyond that last night, that was settled and they moved into sort of the deeper issues?
Well, I hope so, because it's really unnecessary. You know, that neighborhood, Ramat Shlomo, where some housing is going to be built, some apartments are going to be built, is an area that was established in 1995 when President Clinton was in office and Prime Minister Rabin was in office. And we frankly didn't have those kind of disagreements then. We were negotiating with Yasser Arafat on the Oslo agreements, and the Palestinians didn't say, freeze your construction or we won't talk to you. Now that's happening, and that's very unfortunate.
It is somewhat unusual for an administration not to give any sort of readout on a meeting with a head of state. It's even more unusual when the Israelis won't give a readout on a meeting with their prime minister. Should Americans take this as a good sign or a bad sign, and especially given that you pointed out that the relationship right now is very complex between the United States and Israel?
Well, let's remember one thing. The U.S. and Israel are allies. You know, Israel has been supplying technology to the United States Army to find those roadside bombs in Iraq. We've been busy sharing intelligence on Al-Qaeda and on Iran with the U.S. and our European allies. Let's get to the work of defending the West, and let's get past these little disagreements we have. Israel will build in Jerusalem. Jerusalem is the capital of Israel and will remain the capital of Israel forever.
Ambassador Dore Gold, thanks for being with us this morning, Ambassador. We appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Texas Congressman Rand